Hi, this is János, it's Real World Audio, and today I'm going to look at something very unusual, something interesting. I got a comment from Mr. Giggles that I will read it now, that there is an interesting thread about the voice of Lancelot speaker on the Audio Asylum High Efficiency Speaker Forum. And now let's have a look at the thread. So thank you, Mr. Giggles, for bringing it to my attention. Maybe some of you guys know that I'm on Audio Asylum. I've been a member there for 20 years, but the past 10 years I haven't really checked it, and not for a specific reason, but because one, my time doesn't really allow it, because as you guys know, if you are on a forum, that just eats up hours and hours of your life every day, and I don't have that kind of time. So I either put my time into pursuits that are productive, or not. There's no more time in my life. I have an extremely busy daytime job, and when I get home I do all of my projects myself, like working on the cars, home renovation, etc. And when I have a little bit of time, that's when I do either music listening or as I have decided to do this little channel. And that's my way of keeping touch with the audio community. Like 20 years ago, I used to be in touch with the audio community, first and foremost through my mentor, Stu Ono, and he had an audio store, and the circle of friends in the audio store who are really interested in not just buying gear, but tweaking stuff, rebuilding, modifying, changing, coming up with new ideas. He was extremely supportive of that, and we had a very active audio circle organized by Stu. And then he got ill, and then he passed away, and that kind of stopped. And really, it was for me to take up the slack and continue his tradition. And all of my friends expected that from me, that I'm going to continue it. Some even expected that I will continue Stu's business and keep his store running, but I cannot. My daytime job is just so busy that, for example, my co-workers, they don't even have any hobbies at all. Their work is their life, and they think of me as the guy who has the most thankless job, and they said I would never do what János does because it's just such a killing thing. And guys, it's kind of a miracle that I have any energy left to participate in any hobby or anything of this kind of sorts. And anyway, I'm doing this channel because when I have free moments, then I sit down and do this thing, and I don't do it when I'm at the peak of my powers, and I don't have any videos organized. That's why you see it's kind of like a hodgepodge, and I'm not even proofing my videos. So whatever I record now, I press the button to record, I will press it to stop and directly upload it to YouTube. That's how all of my videos are done. And if there are errors and mistakes in it, then there are errors and mistakes. And that's it. So when you are comparing it to things that you look at other sources, they often spend like days or months preparing for something that they do. I do not have that kind of time, and I really rely on this little community, on you, to really check my videos and then post, oh János, you said this something there. Is it really what you wanted to say? And I said, oh no, you caught it well. I wanted to say the exact opposite. It just came out like that. I don't know why. Actually, I don't know. I do know why, because when I'm talking to the camera, I'm coming up with what to say on the spot. And I'm really usually super tired when I make these videos, and sometimes I jump a sentence ahead, or I mix up the sentence and what I'm thinking about the next sentence. So sometimes when I rewatch my videos, oh my god, And like I said like bass driver when I wanted to say compression driver, and I said directivity when I wanted to say efficiency, so stuff like that. So when you watch my videos, don't take it as a gospel, take it as the source from someone who wants to share what he loves doing, but he is really running on fumes. You are not catching me at my finest moment, you are catching me sleepwalking, basically, talking while I'm virtually sleeping. So that being said, I really created this channel to share my journey, how I got to this voice of Lancelot, and what it means to me and what it can mean for you. And thank you Triode Rob, who posted on Audio Asylum high efficiency speaker forum about this little baby of mine, and he was expecting very positive or interesting comments and really good stuff and nice things, but as I read through the thread, it was really, it reminded me why there's a good reason to just, you know, don't really participate in forums, because there's a lot of well, I don't know. It's, you know, like the comments, when I read through them, it would take me like days to you know, just type away and try to, you know, respond to everyone, and then you cannot, because there will be some people and they say like, oh, and why didn't you try this and that and that and that? Because I'm not a time millionaire. That's one reason, and that's why I'm doing this channel and sharing my ideas, so that you geniuses, you can try it. So when you post that, oh, if he would have built it with 3 different port versions, then I would believe him. Guys, then build it for yourself in 3 different port versions, and if you are curious, and if not, well, that just tells about you, that you don't trust people. That's it. And I accept it. No bad thoughts about it, no negativity. And so I'm just going through very fast on the comments, because I'm just going to answer them really quick right here on this video, instead of me going mental trying to spend like weeks of my free time just trying to answer it. And by the way, the number 1 reason why I do not do forums and why I started this channel is my eyesight. I use my eyes 10 plus hours reading computers and reading papers at my work, really intense, and when I get home, the last thing I want to do is type anything on the keyboard. My eyes are burned out. During the past few years, I noticed that my eyesight is declining so much that I'm barely able to work on amplifiers, and I really had to stop that kind of lifestyle to be on you know, on forums and just typing away. And I have to admit that I've been super guilty and self-abusive, because I've been like lately, past couple months, just typing maybe like 4 or 5 hours a day to respond to comments. And guys, I cannot do that. The past 2 weeks I really stayed away from computers, and it's been like a miraculous transformation for my eyesight, and sadly now I just really have to say that from now on I really try to answer comments that I can through videos and not typing, because it's just too much strain for my eyes. And that's why I'm not answering Audio Asylum comments on Asylum, because I can't. So Bill Fitzmurray posted, to quote George Asperger, "There's 100 ways to build a bass reflex loudspeaker. This is one of them." Yeah, perfect. Another user posted, maybe I'm just not going to read out all the names and everything, because it's just such a long time, and say, "With my years playing with 515, size seems compromised, designed to suit the room, question mark?" Yes, that's what I did, is that, and I shared this already in my videos on my channel in great detail, Why I chose the size and why I chose that cabinet size? Because I wanted these drivers to play in my living room. And with the voice of the theater, I cannot put them in my living room. So that was number one design criteria, to make them play in my room. And yeah, so if he made 2 or 3 cabinets with ports in different locations, then done actual comparisons and shown improvements, I think I would be less skeptical. Well, I think this is ties to my previous thing there. No, I do not have time for that. I would love to do that, and if anyone wants to take it up, I gave all the information that you can build your voice of Lancelot. Edward has already done so, and he has been playing around with port locations. And yeah, so I would recommend to this poster. His name is mnavaz3@aol.com. Just look up Edward Brockman's channel, and your answer is there for the different port location. And I would comment more on here, because Edward has like a front firing port and I have a down firing port. One of the differences between them is that the front firing port suits better corner loading, placement in the corner, and the down firing port is when you have a more traditional speaker positioning, like a stereo pair of speakers. So thank you, that was a really nice question. There's a nice post on a DIY cabinet, on older drivers. Then Triodrob, he came, okay, that's nice. He asked something, and then Coulson at onetel.com answers, no, he's making a horn speaker into a non-horn speaker, smiley face. And that was something that I did not intend to do from the start. It was an accident that I just, I finished the cabinet first, and then I have already designed a horn, and I was building the horn. But until I was done with the horn, I just hooked up the bare driver and saw what it can do. Why not? I was curious. And no one has done that before, so why not? There's the driver, all I had to do, just, put together a simple crossover for it and just, plug it in. That's it. And I did it, and I was just astonished. I completely astonished, because it worked, and it not just worked, but it worked extremely well. And just to give you guys ideas, Edward also tried it out, running the bare driver and the different driver, electro voice driver, compression driver, and it works for him too. And he also tried it with the horn as well. You can see it in his video, what's the difference, how it sounds. And I had friends come over who are real experts with Altec horns. I do not have that much experience with the quote-unquote traditional stuff. I'm just using these drivers, but if you ask me, like, how would I do this and that tweak on Altec Model 19 or whichever, I'm not the best person to answer for that, because I have not played around with those speakers. But I know people who did that, and who gave me distilled knowledge of their experience. My mentor was such, and I took their knowledge and built on it, and went my own way, which is so far from the beaten path as anyone could imagine. And I think that's why I could go off the beaten path, because I myself never tied myself to modifying and tweaking the quote-unquote traditional Altec cabinets. And I know to many that's a sacrilege, like creating your own cabinet for these type of speakers, especially if you spent your whole life restoring and listening to these, then the Altec sound for you is equals to the cabinet plus the driver itself. And a lot of people can't even imagine designing a different cabinet for them. But for me, I had to do it because I wanted those drivers work in my room. And I started it as an experiment. I was not expecting anything from it. And I started from the basis of knowledge, from the basis of what the driver's parameters are, how they work. And then what I did is that I put them together in a way that's just very, very different from what I have seen anyone do, because I built them as music instruments. So I came from and not just music instruments. You can see my channel. I talk like days and days on that, but it's basically my distillation of my entire stereo journey put into those speakers. And when I talk about them, I talk about horns. He is, because like Bill Fitzmaurice answered that that like piercing the horn on top of the chassis, I mean the compression driver without a horn firing up, that's not ingenious, but it shows that he doesn't know what he's doing. And guys, I tried it also with horn, working as a horn. I had friends here checking it out who are really Altec experts, unlike me. I don't consider myself an Altec expert or a horn expert, but I had people who are that, and some of them thought that actually some thought that with the horn, actually without the horn, it sounds in the living room, in my living room, just as good as if it had a horn, and there's no necessity for the horn. And at that point, like firing it towards you or firing it up, there were differences. I had like some of my audio friends prefer it firing up, some of my friends prefer it firing towards them. That's the thing. But the good thing is very easy. Just flip the compression driver. That's it. So in my case, and anyway, nice. So and there's a lot of just trashing here. And then like asking why I don't post about details. I posted already everything. It's just, you know, is when people they don't want to, you know, look into stuff. They just whatever talk crap. Anyway, I don't even want to go into all that negativity, but that's a great reminder why to stay away from forums, because it goes down all to bickering. And I know every forum has great people who want to progress, who want to be workhorses, you know, to do stuff and contribute. And but there's also trolls coming up who really sour the mood. And that's why I created my channel, because I want like people here who really want to work and put in the work and go forth and go forth. So there's Craig, he's building a pair of voice over Lancelots. Edward is now on his third prototype, and I think the results are really positive. And really, I created this channel because I think, for me, experiencing them was unimaginable, something unimaginable. So if I compare the entirety of the loudspeakers that you hear, like high-end loudspeakers or any, it's like kind of like race cars, and going from a Fiat Tipo firing a single cylinder, that range, through an F1 race car. So it's like anything on four wheels that's loudspeakers, and you can go from a rundown rusty chassis something to something that's tuned to the nth degree to give you unlimited power or comfort or whatever you want. And when I compare the big Altec speakers, like the voice of the theaters, which are properly optimized, they are like airplanes compared to the cars. And you can have the finest car, but it's still a car. And these the voice of the theaters, when built right, the crossover properly optimized, they feel like airplanes compared to cars. And then how I feel this voice of Lancelot, it's like a spaceship. It's just doing stuff that I never imagined loudspeakers can do. And first of all, my mentor's words come to my mind is that when you listen to a loudspeaker and you expect it to sound really special, then and you hear, wow, there's something really special about it, that often is the problem. That often shows that the speaker is doing some sort of highlighting to change detail level somewhere, to do some trickery to focus your brain, to capture your imagination, and later on, if you live with it for a year or more, then you will realize the shortcomings and the negativities that yeah, I see that I can hear much more high frequency detail, but that's at the price of bad tonality. And the hallmark of great speakers is that when you listen first to them, it's like, oh, there's nothing special about the sound. It just sounds like completely normal. It's like when people are talking to each other, it's completely normal. When you take out your guitar, you play on it, it's completely normal. There's nothing special in it. And when I listen to the voice of Lancelot, that's what I experience. There's nothing special about it. But I keep on listening like 1, 2, 3 hours, and after that it's just like, okay, I just can't stop listening. And if I do, then maybe if I don't listen to it next day, the day after, I have like just, okay, I need to listen to it again. But it's not the speakers that I'm missing, but it's the music. And what gets stuck with me is not the speaker by itself, but the last music that I heard on it that just continues running through my brains. And if I hear that music on a cell phone, it triggers the exact same experience that I had when I listened to it on the voice of Lancelot. And the music experience just gets so much more fuller. It is just incredible. So that's why I'm doing this channel, to guide all of you towards those sorts of experiences. And that's not just the voice of Lancelot doing it. There's a lot more components, a lot more things to get there. And that's why I really need a channel to guide you through those steps, how you can reach that sound, because it's like an entire systems building approach. It needs to work with your room, it needs to work with with everything in your system. So thank you for Mr. Giggles for bringing this thread into my attention, and I hope that everyone is really excited to learn about speakers. Certainly I am excited to do that as well, and I have told you guys many times, I'm not a self-proclaimed expert. I have a lot to learn, and I'm on the road just like you or any of you, but I have tried out things that no one tried before, and that's why I'm sharing it, because I hit gold here. And of course, when you find people who spend their entire lives working on the ATEC cabinets, for them it's totally sacrilege to try out something different. But it's worth to do that. Of course, the voice of Lancelot would not work in a movie theater. It would not work in those operating conditions where an A5 was designed to work with. It's absolutely right. And that's why I build them, because I want them to give me the most in my room. I don't care about a movie theater. I did not build these speakers for a movie theater. The A5s are built for a movie theater, and I built wonderfully for a movie theater. And but I don't live in a movie theater. I don't own a movie theater. Why on earth would I put any energy to develop speakers for a movie theater? I'm not in any sort of industry. I'm an audiophile. I'm a music lover. And I want a speaker for myself. I hope you do the same thing. Those are your desires. If so, you are at the right place. If you want to, build your own movie theater, get an A5. Bye bye, or an A1. Ciao.